We are here for social media and communication during quarantine. Our speakers are Jennifer Jacobson of Badalin and Jacobson, Janet Quindenis of Quindenis Mediation and Consulting, and Laura Baza of Homeowners Management Company. A couple of housekeeping rules for you. Please keep your video and your sound on mute. We love seeing you. We want to see you. Actually, we're going to be doing a little coffee time next week on the 21st. So we will see y'all then. But right now, we can't see you. So for credit for this, please comment your first and last name, company, and email in the chat. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. We will be monitoring them as we are talking, but we'll probably get to most of them at the end. And the speakers are amazing, so if there's anything that we do not get to, we will try to do a follow-up in an email. We will also be sending you guys a couple of handouts that you'll get in an email, so that'll be pretty sweet too. Our little legal disclaimer here, we have it up on our Facebook, we have it on the event, so if you need to read it, we are not, government or medical authorities, so we ask that you do consult your attorney or doctor depending on what it is. And as always, please keep your video and your microphone on mute. All right. Now that all that shenanigans is done. Oh, and we are recording this, so it will be available on YouTube. It's going to be cut down, and so I'm probably going to start like the video from right after what I say next. So we're not going to see all that stuff in the beginning. Okie dokie. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our chapter chat. Here we go. Speakers, please take a moment to say who you are and where you're from. Janet, how about we start with you?
Okay, I'm Janet Quindenis. I'm with Quindenis Mediation and Consulting, and I'm really glad to be here.
How about Jen?
My name is Jennifer Jacobson. I'm with Badalin and Jacobson in Sacramento, California. We are general counsel to community associations.
Laura?
And I'm Laura Bonza. I'm the Director of Education and Marketing for Homeowners Management Company in Concord, California.
Very cool. Thank you. Okay, so we are here to talk about communication to our members and clients during quarantine, as well as touch on assessments. So let's dive right in. Jen, meetings are being forced to be held virtually. What are your helpful tips for communication? What have you seen?
Yeah, this is a really challenging time for our boards of directors because we're having a lot of things thrown at us that we are not ready for, we're not used to, and we're adapting, and things are changing weekly, daily. So a lot is happening with the meetings on the state level. The governor has suspended the physical presence requirements due to distancing in place. And so we are not on the state level having physical locations for the public forums. So similarly with our association, we should dispense with noticing a physical place due to the social distancing. We're going to be meeting on audio and video formats that we are learning as we're going along, such as Zoom, as we're on right now. So if we're moderating the meeting, we need to understand how to mute and unmute people, how to use the chat features. And if you're going to go live with a mic, you might want to have people submit questions in advance, and that might allow you to better control people talking. If you have a true emergency that's come at the board, they can call an emergency meeting and dispense with the agenda requirements if it's something that they haven't reasonably seen. And they can do that via email as long as all the board members unanimously consent to meeting by email, or they could have their own telephonic or Zoom meeting.
Perfect. Okay, so Laura, since we are talking about communication, can we be over communicating at this time? Maybe touch on how or your company, or how often your company is communicating?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we need to realize when communicating that our intention may not be what the receiver's perception is. So when you're creating a message, you go out to an entire community, I would definitely make sure that you have at least one more set of eyes on whatever message it is that you're sending out. And make sure that it's coming across in all the manners that you want it to come across. You don't want it to seem heartless or callous. I have an association where everybody's just not following the rules right now. So instead of sending a message out that just says, hey, everybody needs to follow all these rules, I need to caress a message so I'm not just yelling at them because everybody's already stressed out, so I don't want to compound that. So how do I deliver that message in a way that it'll be received and people might actually follow it and hear it? I think is the biggest priority that you need to maintain. And then also making sure that people know what's going on in their communities. A lot of people that are concerned about like laundry rooms and mail rooms, those are things that can be closed down. What are you doing with them? What are you doing to keep them clean? What is your janitorial company doing besides their normal cleaning? Are they doing any kind of extra cleaning or get different kinds of supplies, cleaning supplies that they're using? Make sure you're sharing that information. Sometimes that little piece of security can really de-escalate someone's emotional response when they're out in the community.
Wonderful. So what you're saying is you really cannot be over communicating at this time.
Yeah, I don't think you can over communicate unless you're over communicating is yelling and chaos. Then I would probably tone it down.
Perfect. So we know that a lot of our communities, or at least up here in the Sacramento chapter, a lot of our communities deal with a lot of senior residents. So Janet, I know you're very passionate about the confinement and isolation part of seniors during this time. Can you give us 3 examples of why seniors in particular might need to be checked on during the shelter in place?
I can. In fact, at one time I would have said, this is what they need. Unfortunately, I've really become very painfully aware is I'm one of those seniors. So speaking from the heart when it comes to this, we don't like asking for help. Our age group is just like, that wasn't a message that was given to us growing up. So we have to communicate that. We have to remind our generation that it takes strength to ask for help. It's not a weakness. For those of us that don't have immediate family and friends that are around us in this quarantine, we just need to find ways to open our own hearts up and do things like making sure that everybody has enough meds to last before they can see the doctor. I mean, unless you have email to your doctor, you're not going to be able to get additional subscriptions I'm sorry, I'm just getting breathe. So, you know, those of us that have oxygen needs and other durable equipment, we're stuck. So it's really important to know that that's kind of an issue that is going to come up. Additionally, there are some seniors that really don't have enough money for food or those things that we're taking for granted right now. So shortages for Meals on Wheels and food pantries today. So if any of us have the ability to safely go out of quarantine and get those things for us, to be able to share that, it's just an act of love.
Yeah, so communicating with your neighbor, you know, I'm going to the grocery store, you know, or communicating, maybe even, I don't know if this is kind of off the cuff a little bit, sorry guys, but I don't know if the management company could send a letter that says, like, if you're able to go to the store and you want to help someone who isn't, you know, maybe contact them or look to your neighbors. Sorry, Laura, go ahead.
No, so Rachel, that's actually where I was going to go. That's what we're doing.
Oh,
HMC has sent out messages to all of our communities saying, if you're in need, please contact us and let you know what you need. If you're willing to offer assistance, please contact us so that you're offering assistance so we can marry you up together to get assistance to those people in the communities. I know that certain team members have gone and done things for seniors in the communities themselves, a volunteer when they're out in the grocery store and they know that so-and-so who lives in one of the communities he manages needs something and go and drop it off at the door. This is the time where all of those little things and all those little actions are what's going to be the change. It's what's going to move us to the next level. It's what's going to get us through this to when we go back to a normal functioning level. I think, you know, putting people in contact with each other is probably one of the biggest things as a management company and managers that we can do.
Yeah.
wonderful. Kind of goes back to your shirt, be the change. Anyway, sorry.
Or my tattoo.
Speaking of feeling overwhelmed, we did create this awesome little logo for you guys. Am I sharing it right? Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of stop, drop, and roll, it's breathe, walk, and talk. Okay, so instead of, like, you know, when you feel overwhelmed, breathe, walking, and talking is our new stop, drop, and roll for the fire that is our current life. So, all right, getting back on topic here. Sorry about that. Had to plug it. Okay, So Janet, I know you compiled an amazing list of resources. I'm going to pull up a slide of that really quick, and we will be following up with all of you guys in the chat. We'll send out a follow-up email with all of the resources that we have here today. But Janet, what are 2 or 3 examples besides social media that you might connect with loved ones during this time, including seniors? Laura and Jen, feel free to comment on this as well.
Well, we talked about if you have groceries, you know, sharing that. I have a contact that I recently found out, a neighbor works for CVS, and some of the harder items that I haven't been able to get at the grocery store, like toilet paper and hand sanitizer, she knew when the truck came in and she dropped them off at the house. Just unbelievable feeling. Sending inspirational cards and letters and drawings. A lot of us have young children that love to write letters and draw, you know, make drawings for the loved ones to be able to, whether it's snail mail or dropping it by the house. Drive-bys. I've seen some amazing things with birthday celebrations and graduation. This is the time where our graduates are missing their ceremonies. So to be able to do any of those, I have a digital picture frame that people can email pictures that go into my slideshow, so I feel less isolated. So, you know, we can use the old school and the new school.
That's awesome. We're also getting some really cool things in the chat. I'm just going to reiterate really quick because this is going to go on YouTube, and people can't see the chat on YouTube. So Laura Young actually says that she did letters to her associations as well, sent out e-blasts and letters to check on them, those who are elderly or alone, for both necessities and mental health. It works wonderfully, she's saying. So it looks like this is happening, which is great. And then Nicole Van Wig in the chat actually says that you can have Alexa, you can turn on Alexa to check in on others. So I don't really know how that works, but that's an interesting piece of technology that I'm going to have to now YouTube.
You might know that.
And I know for even like myself, I'm offering help to other seniors who don't know how to use those apps, who don't know how to use Alexa, who don't know how to use FaceTime or WhatsApp, calling them, walking them through it and getting them set up so that it doesn't seem as overwhelming. And you know, you really might consider taking one of those Facebook portals or any of those things and donating one to your local senior community, your senior centers. I've done and dropped some off at the ones here in town where I live, so they can communicate with their loved ones. A lot of seniors unfortunately didn't have those before this, and they don't have it now. So you know, being able to put them face to face can really make a difference.
That's a great idea. I love all of this. Okay, so continuing on, Jen, on communications, should associations consider giving a grace period or waiving for payment of assessments at this time?
Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because everybody's feeling the same way, that we feel a sense of urgency and gratitude of taking care of each other. But at the same time, we still have to perform our essential functions. And the assessments are the lifeblood of each of our communities. So I wouldn't suggest that you announce that you're having a grace period or that you're going to forgive late fees or interest, but rather remind the homeowners who have fallen on hard times that they can ask for a payment plan, and we will work with them to get them through this and partner with them to get them on the right track. But this is not going to end in 30 days or 60 days. The continuing collection efforts are going to be moving forward. So this is going to be an ongoing challenge. And for our associations that are underfunded in their reserves particularly, it's critical that they keep continuing to collect assessments because they will not have reserves to borrow against. So once the cash flow stops, the association's ability to function stops. It's really important to collect assessments and move forward.
Perfect. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share the resource that we will be emailing out to you guys as well from Jen's company, responding to COVID-19 essential activities during shelter in place. We will also be talking more about essential activities next Thursday, so make sure to tune into that one. But you will get this all in an email, I promise. Okay, let's continue on here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we're going to briefly talk about communication as it relates to essential workers. Communicating, oh, I think I just advanced shared that letter, my apologies. Communicating with essential workers or about essential workers during this time. Okay, what are some situations you guys have seen? Jen, we'll start with you.
Well, you know, each county and city has their orders in place, so you need to consult with your local ordinance, the local order that's in place, to determine which activities they are deeming essential. We have had people out painting and had the police called on them by a homeowner who thought that wasn't essential. And these poor first responders, they're being asked to determine what is essential for HOA management, which really isn't in their job description, right? So I would suggest that we arm the people that come on property with an essentials letter, meaning that our landscaper, we partner with them, determine what landscaping duties are essential, our maintenance workers, our construction workers, and we put a letter together with the help of them and our attorney to issue work orders. So if we do have a first responder called on site to determine whether or not we are working on an essential activity, they will be armed with that written letter to provide to the first responder.
Perfect, and that's super crucial. And we will be talking more specifically about landscaping next week, because that's where we've seen a lot of the comments on the police being called, and what you could do around your community. But this is extremely helpful, and we will be sending this out to everyone who attended today. So not to everyone though, so if you attended, good for you. Those watching on YouTube, sorry. Okay, so last but not least, let's talk about social media. Okay. Our members and community members, they want to be in contact with each other. Okay. So Laura, can you discuss what associations can and cannot do to communicate on social media, or any tips on communicating on a social platform?
So that's always a complicated thing. So I think the first thing you need to do is designate who's going to be the voice. It should only be one person, and it should be one person sharing that message. I recommend that it's not a board member, just to reduce any kind of liability. I think it's best to be coming from the manager, but the message can obviously come from board member or board members or a communication committee, whatever it is that your community has established, to get everybody on the same page of what you want communicated, but then having that one person be that voice. I'm very, very, very hesitant about anybody doing like an HOA Facebook group or nextdoor.com. It's not an official association news location. So I wouldn't just be putting my association's business out on some kind of platform like that. I'd either use an HOA dedicated website or consult with my attorney about maybe making a dedicated Facebook page where you're putting information on. But you have to realize that not everybody's on Facebook. People are more likely to go to a website than they are to go to Facebook. And where you're putting your information needs to be somewhere where everybody's going to go. I wouldn't want to put it somewhere where someone has to make an account that they wouldn't necessarily make an account for. And then again, it's clear and concise communication. To what you were talking about with essential workers, a website is a great place to say, hey, we're going to have hydrogenning done. This plumbing company is going to be out there. You will see them. Please do not approach them. Please maintain your social distancing. They're out there because X, Y, and Z need to be done. I feel like being clear and telling them exactly what's going to happen so there are no surprises eliminates people coming to them, eliminates stress, and eliminates extra chaos that would be included if they didn't know. And I would not, especially if I was a board member, I would just stay away from Nextdoor. I wouldn't even engage in that on any level.
Jen, do you have anything to add on that, or Janet? Anything you've seen?
Well, I've just on my own locality, that Nextdoor, yeah, there have been some really wicked posts, not only with the regular community, but HOA postings. And I always have Laura's voice in my head, do not respond.
Do not respond. Anyone in the chat, have you seen anything while we continue on, that you've seen that HOAs have done? I know that we have a member, I think it might be Diamond Grove or something, that has a Facebook page where they just like announce things that are happening within the community, but it's not a discussion based page.
Or even like a blog. Like people, like HOAs could set up their own blog. That's a great place to put information out on. And then I think too, we focus on communicating with the HOAs, but managers, we need to be communicating with each other too. You're not doesn't matter what company you're from, you're not on your own island. We're all going through this, and the collaboration is what's going to help us get to that place. So managers should be collaborating. If you have an issue, go on social media and ask her. There's LinkedIn, Facebook. There's plenty of colleagues that you have on there that'd be more than happy to help you. Private message, everything else. Reach out if you need help. Don't try to just do it on your own and be underneath that waterfall of stress.
Yeah, we're not about reinventing the wheel here. We like to share ideas. If you have a question for someone, feel free to email me at the chapter and we will ask that question of that person. We can even do questions anonymously to members, like if you have a question about how to handle something, you know, so we're here for you during this time. Okay, so Q&A, the fun part. So if you have a question, please post it in the comments. Make sure you do it soon because I'm going to start reading these questions that we already have. You guys ready? Okay. Okay, Tracy asks, if you send out a notice like Laura had spoken of and you receive responses from residents in need, but no responses from residents willing to help, what do you do?
Well, like I said, some of our team members are actually taking that on themselves and have gotten what they need. I mean, it's pretty hard to say no to somebody who needs something. Like I would go to Vacaville if I had to, and I live in Dublin. You know, to me, that I would just solve the problem myself then at that point.
Would that be something that you could post on an HOA? Like not the name, but like if you're willing to help your neighbor, please contact us.
100%. And even if you don't have somebody to help, you know, I might reach out to you, Rachel, at the CAI. Is somebody else in that area? Is there a business partner? Is there another homeowner? Is there another manager that'd be willing to help that person out? Like, I'm going to try all my resources before I just abandon ship. And especially in the north, you guys are, you know, definitely a smaller group of people together, and you're always willing to look out for each other and help each other. I would think that if you reached out to Rachel, she would network you to where you need to be.
I think that's true with anybody that comes in that's on this web page on Zoom, any of the business professionals that are willing to help.
Randy Murphy from Hidden Valley Lake posted a link to his blog post for his community and their website, which looks really good in the comments. So I'll make sure when I upload this to YouTube that I also include a link to that because it does look really good. Let's see. Megan Spencer says, I'm sure you could also reach out to a business partner to help.
Or to do yoga online.
Yes. Yes, we do have online yoga as an option for that whole, like, instead of stop, drop, and roll, breathe, talk, and walk. Yeah, and that's actually a great way. We kind of talked about that last week too, where, you know, getting your business partners, your vendors involved. I mean, they miss you. So,
and we miss you. I miss my business partners. My business partners are the key to my success. I miss them.
Yeah. Kelly had a great idea. She's like, you know, if a business partner is savvy with Zoom, you know, maybe they could like host, you know, a community Zoom meeting, and it could just be like a coffee thing, you know, and they could put the flyer together and the management company could send it out to the membership, and, you know, it could be a good way to get the community together as well. Yes, I will share the breathe, talk, and walk emblem as well when I send an email out to all of you, but I'll post it right here, right now in a second. I think that that's all the questions that we have right now in the comment box. Did you guys have anything else to add so far?
I have just a little thing. I want to encourage everyone to take breaks from all the COVID-19 news blasts that are 24 hours a day. I personally have benefited for the first time in my life in Megan's 1 hour a day yoga. I've never did it before, and my body and my mind is so thankful for that. It's helped me with my sleep, which I was challenged by anyway, dealing with my grief issues. And, you know, we see all the time that the increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs during this really difficult quarantine. So there are also 12-step meetings on Zoom. So if anybody needs a little help with that, I am volunteering.
Awesome. And we have the information for the yoga on our chapter Facebook page, but if you need it another way, just send me an email at the chapter and I'll send it to you. Here's that breathe, talk, and walk logo. Let's make it famous. Anyway, okay. All right. So I think that
yeah. I think I just want to add one more thing too for mental health issues. You can go online. There's a lot of online therapy you can do too. And if you need help on that, let me know. So if you're, you know, going through that, or you know somebody who is, there's a lot of therapists that are doing online therapy right now too.
Okay. I think that that's all that I have today. Okay, thank you everyone for attending. Speakers, thank you so much for taking your time. I know this was super last minute, but we love all this information. It's awesome. We're gonna send it out to all of you guys. The chat is blowing up with thank you so much. We love yous right now, so feel free to check that out. And I will be sending out a follow-up email soon. Check in next week at noon.
Thank you,
Thank
Rachel.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.